listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
So I just have to brag. I don't know, like, that I was at
Let's hear it.
consignment store and managed to find a pair of Acne boots for an incredible price, and I really don't have anywhere to wear them. But I bought them.
That's the thing these days, right?
Right?
Like you don't have anywhere to wear anything. And so what's the, a little bit like stuff sits languishing in your closet.
Yeah, I mean, what's that saying, buy the dress and the event will follow?
Yeah.
That's a pre-COVID expression for sure.
Yeah, you might be right. But I don't know. I have like faith. Like they're boots, so they're always going to be like wearable somewhere. Like you can. I have started wearing a lot of perfume, and I've bought like some new perfumes, and I'm just wearing perfume at home just for me, because everything right now that is like extra or special or nice is just for me. And there is like something to be said about that as like a really special moment. It's just for me.
Well, yeah, I know that feeling. When I went up to go to get groceries, I thought, well, I'll just put on some jeans and a sweater and trench coat. And this neighbor saw me and said, "Oh, are you going somewhere?" And I went, "That's sad." Yeah, I went up the street to get some groceries. But, I could have kept the sweatpants on, sure. No one would have said anything. And really, I mean, what is the point? We've had this discussion about lipstick. I mean, what's the point? I'll be honest, there has been some liberating moments of not having to worry about what the bottom half of my face looks like. But
I have a question. I have a question for you too. Do you makeup on the top half of your face only, or like no makeup at all on your face, or do you do the full face and like just ruin a mask when you put it on?
I ruin a mask.
It depends, because I have like one of those spacers. So I use the spacer when I'm wearing a lipstick. But I will often I'll put on like my tinted moisturizer for my whole face, but I've been really like kind of brows and eyes only for a while. And I only wear the lipsticks when I'm Zooming or I'm on this with you guys and when I'm doing like video chats and stuff. So, and pre-COVID, I didn't wear a lot of, even pre-COVID, when I would put on a lipstick, it was usually like once I got out of the elevator, and into my car or where I was going. This is going to sound super silly, but like, and I'm sure I've said this before, but you guys are just going to roll your eyes even harder. It's fine. Carlos and I have had a tradition since we met that every elevator ride that we go on, that's just the two of us, we always kiss. Just like not a full makeout session, just a kiss.
But you live in an apartment with an elevator.
Yeah. So
okay.
So the masks have really cut down. Like we have to do like mask to mask kissing, which is, it's fine, but it seems a bit silly. But like, so I wouldn't wear a ton of lipstick usually because I always knew we were going to kiss in the elevator before, like, anyway. So this is all to be said. I probably wear more lipstick now.
That is just sickeningly adorable.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's nice to have these little rituals, wherever you find them.
Aww.
Well, I just find, back to I just find lately I've just been, because I wear tinted moisturizer too, but I have only been putting it on like the top half of my face. So that, because like I find that if I'm getting it, it just gets all over the mask, and then it's just like,
My tinted moisturizer doesn't go, it's not like super transferable. So which kind are you using?
Well, I use the NARS one.
Me too.
But I think I have a mask that just like fits pretty tightly on my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use the Air Queens a lot, and they are away from the face. So, yeah, I get a tiny bit of like pickup along the nose and stuff, but other than that, I'm good.
What's so great about the NARS tinted moisturizer?
It's just super light. It's like a nice coverage without like, because foundation's too heavy and cakey.
Yeah.
So like a tinted moisturizer is perfect, and the NARS one is just like, it's really just seamless. Like it's I really love it so much.
Oh, okay. But just so it's pointed out, we're not actually getting paid by Acne Boots or
NARS.
or NARS. This is just us sharing information with all of you.
Yep.
We don't. If it were the case, we could bring in our sponsor, Lamborghini.
Can you imagine? This is the last podcast in the world that would have a Lamborghini sponsorship. Like, if anything, like we like one of those like sort of period underwear places. But I think that's it. Like I don't.
Brought to you by Puppy Period Pants.
Yeah. Oh my God, puppy period pants would be great. Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no Lamborghini, no champagne, no nothing, no Rolex watches. This is not the podcast. If you were hoping for that, you might want to go elsewhere.
Can you imagine? We have a discount code for Lamborghini.
Just say, Pop This sent you, and you can save 10%.
We have to go into the dealership and tell them Pop This sent you.
Use the code Pop This.
Oh, man.
I don't know how this segues into what we're going to talk about, but it definitely entitlement will fit with this.
I mean, it's not the most perfect segue, but I do enjoy just like the idea that something really that's only funny to us, that no one else listening is really going to find that funny. That's a lot of the jokes in this movie that we're talking about. Like the writers were like, this is hilarious. And everyone watching the movie was just like, we like the singing, but these jokes, I don't know what's happening. God. What a movie. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And you're listening to Pop This, your Lamborghini 2022 dealership affiliate. So I suggested this. I'm going to take ownership over this particular suggestion. I believe I suggested this movie. And
100% you did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been me.
Its 10th anniversary this year. I remember having problems with it when it came out, but I still enjoyed it enough that I was like, let's check in on it 10 years later. I have disliked the sequels intensely. I definitely saw number 2. I thought I saw number 3, but maybe I guess I didn't. I don't really remember it at all. And it does not hold up well on viewing in 2022. We're talking about Pitch Perfect.
Nope. No, it doesn't.
No, it does not. No.
Oh boy.
A little shockingly so.
Yeah, and I can't think of a movie with fewer stakes than this one.
I mean, I don't mind a movie with low stakes because I love a singing movie. I love a competition movie. I mean, this does speak to some of the breads and butters of like my favorite things, but it is so. You're right. Like AG, it's kind of shockingly.
For only 10 years
aged.
old, I am a little bit surprised.
Me too.
Yeah, I accidentally wrote 20th anniversary on our outline.
Honestly, 20 would have made more sense.
Yeah.
20 would have absolutely made more sense. I cannot believe this movie is only 10 years old. And I understand that time has no meaning anymore.
Footloose holds up better. And that's what, like 40 years old or something.
Well, so this movie, it's one of those, oh God. I have some theories about why it doesn't go well on a lot of levels. And most of those are just like, it's written by like white women and produced by white women. And they think that sort of like casual racist stereotypes are super fun. And, that's
just part of it.
That's just part of it, but it is part of it.
It is part of it.
It is a significant part of it.
It's
sorry, go ahead.
There was a lot of talk about the idea of hipster racism a few years ago, and I feel like maybe this movie is like, if you look up hipster racism, they probably just show a couple clips from this movie. Because it's just like trying to be like, it's supposed to be ironic or satirical.
Yeah.
But like it's still totally racist.
It's supposed to be satirical?
I think in 2012 it's supposed to be. Like, I think that they really thought that they were doing something with representation. I think the people who made this film were just like, look, we're showing all kinds of different girls. And really thought that they were doing something special. And
In what world is Anna Kendrick the edgy one, though? You've got to. In what world is that? I guess this one.
This world.
This world. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a lot happening here. All right, so I will read some background. Pitch Perfect is a 2012 American teen musical comedy film directed by Jason Moore and written by Kay Cannon. The film's loosely adapted from Mickey Rapkin's nonfiction book titled Pitch Perfect: The Quest for Collegiate A Cappella Glory. Again, all things up my alley in that title. The film was released on October 5th, 2012, and mostly positive reviews from critics. I remember a lot of positive reviews. Became a sleeper hit, earning $115 million worldwide. The first in a film series that becomes a trilogy. Pitch Perfect 2 in 2015 and Pitch Perfect 3 in 2017. The last Pitch Perfect film was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But also, there was supposed to be some kind of reboot in the works.
Yeah, a TV show reboot.
I know, centered around the character of Bumper.
How would Bumper be the one? I mean, I know like Adam Devine is fun and he's great in Righteous Gemstones, et cetera, but like, how is that the character you peg it to?
This is just one of the many mysteries about this movie and its success. But I will take on. Oh, should I do the synopsis first, and then we'll?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, the Barden Bellas are a collegiate all-girls a cappella singing group thriving on female pop songs and their perfect looks. After a disastrous failing at last year's finals, they are forced to regroup. Among the new recruits is freshman Becca, an independent, aspiring DJ. With no interest in college life. That was a hard sentence for me to even say.
Is it because both you and AG were independent, aspiring DJs with no interest in college life when you guys went to school?
Yeah, I gotta have to point out an awful lot of things that don't quite hold up, from my experience in that life. Oh my gosh. Okay. Aspiring DJ. Okay.
But I mean, okay, we have to acknowledge that this movie was very successful.
Yep.
And a lot of people liked it when it came out.
So was Titanic. But, you can...
Titanic, weirdly, somehow less racist. Although I guess less racist because they literally only have white people in the film except for... Yeah, so never mind. That doesn't really count, but...
I think if we rewind 10 years ago, like that was the era of Glee, where like Glee was like super popular and everywhere, and sort of this like the idea of like a cappella singing to like groups in high school and
Glee
college.
Feels like Tolstoy compared to this, though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
I know. Just
I'm stating the facts.
like
of the
complex
era.
characters and
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
storylines and
Yeah.
people caring about things and there being something that the audience can care about. That's
Well, so here's the. So I mean, I saw this in 2012, and I do remember liking it. Am I the only one of the three of us?
I
Yes,
think
I
I
didn't see
saw it. Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. It seemed a bit familiar, but it certainly didn't register.
Okay, and AG, you never saw it.
I think I saw it later on.
See,
like,
same.
Much later.
Like it
Yeah.
happened, and I don't really
Yeah.
remember, and
Fair.
I wasn't even drinking. It was just that unmemorable.
Yeah.
Fair. So I remember, like, for sure I saw it because I love a cappella competitions. I've never participated. I'm just an enthusiast from afar. I remember being excited that Rebel Wilson was in it, and I had liked her a lot in Bridesmaids. I liked Anna Kendrick at the time as well. I had found her fun in Scott Pilgrim. I had also weirdly interviewed her when she was in Twilight. And I really enjoyed her lack of interest in Twilight. There was just like a few things here and there that I had, and I remember watching this movie, and I remember being like, these stereotypes are not great, and I don't think that representation is good just for representation's sake, if there are only stereotypes at work here. But I do remember thinking, you know what, this was fun. So my
Yeah.
10 years ago self, not nearly as,
Forgiving.
well, yeah, like my current 2022 self, I have far less patience for this film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also it was, Rebel Wilson is it's like her breakout role. I mean, she was, yeah, it was one of her like first movies where everybody started to notice her comedic skills and kind of elevated her.
Yeah, but I did think there was something like kind of, it felt progressive at the time to like have this character who was called Fat Amy, when like we hadn't yet had like Lindy West's book Shrill. There hadn't been sort of like this sort of mainstream reclamation of the word fat. Like there hadn't, there were some things that felt kind of like interesting here, but even that, like 10 years later, obviously does not hold up very much at all, because like it's like the writer, and the writer has written for a bunch of different things. She, I think, did like New Girl. I pulled up her like resume or whatever. She's written for a bunch of different things. And it's typically in those sort of scenarios where they think that they're writing things that are progressive, and surface wise, maybe they are a little bit progressive, but they're not actually doing the work. Like there's still like this sort of like baseline level of punching down all the time. They're never really punching up. And that's kind of one of the failings of like this comedy style,
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the writer made a decision or was of the belief that, if I have the fat character say the fat jokes, then it's funny.
Yeah.
And same with like, if I have like, the black lesbian say these jokes about black lesbians, then it's funny.
Yeah. And if I have like two different kinds of Asian characters behaving in two different ways, where like one is like cute but weird and the other is just mean, which again, I like those vibes of the characters, but if like that's the only two things that like any Asian, like I just, I remember also like, I mean, I really actually love the performances that all of these people do. Like, even if they've got crappy characters that they're stuck with, I think that the actors are doing actually really great jobs. Like, I really enjoy like what Hannah Mae Lee is doing as Lily. I mean, you know what? If you literally are only given eyes, bangs, and a whisper to work with, she nails every single thing. Like the glee with which she says all kinds of strange stuff under her breath. I'm glad I was watching with subtitles. Did you guys watch with subtitles? Because that's kind of... Oh, no! Because you can't hear it very well at all if you're just watching it normally. But if you're watching it subtitled, you can actually see what her whispers are saying. And I had only ever heard like maybe 3 out of 7 of them. Oh my God, they all delivered. But again, it's like she's just doing the most with the least.
Was it necessary for her to have to do snow angels and vomit? I still can't quite.
Yeah. Why does this movie have those like super gross out moments? Like it just seems
really disturbing. Like if you have that much vomit in your body, you should be at the hospital. Like there's nothing left inside of you. All of your innards are out. I've thrown up before. Nothing like, I mean, that was like Monty Python-esque.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's what they're going for, is just like the that sort of like, I know, again, it doesn't work that well, but like the whole girls can be gross too. You know, like Bridesmaids had like the diarrhea in the sink and then pooping in the streets, like.
But we didn't see it.
No, I know. And those were funnier. Like their gross out moments in Pitch Perfect aren't really funny. I did find snow angels and vomit a little bit funny, but also super gross. But for some reason, the snow angels and vomit made me laugh much harder than almost any other sight gag in the film.
And am I the only one that was like not impressed with the whole cup thing? Like, what was that? I know that became like a huge trend and stuff.
Thing, yeah.
But I was watching it going, what was so great about that? Like, what did I miss?
Well, I mean, it takes coordination to pull that off.
Yeah, it does. It takes coordination. But when you're watching her do that, after you've watched Esther Dean as Cynthia Rose Adams blow the roof off the place with this incredible voice, like Becca's singing is not that impressive. Like it's good, but it's not like that impressive. And so I just, again, constantly being sort of like in this sort of weird position of being told how exceptional and rebellious Rebecca is. We're not actually being shown any evidence of it.
She is the most irritatingly dull character in a movie. Like if I had to make a list of irritatingly dull people, like there was no moment where I was like, I'm believing that her moodiness or what was she supposed to be? Like just angry or
the insult was alt girl.
Yeah. Alt girl. And was she supposed to be a goth or something? Or what was the deal?
She's supposed to be like a grunge alt girl because she wore plaid and
eyeliner. She's supposed to be like alternative or whatever. It's so funny though. Like it's such a beige understanding of anything. It's wild.
But it's just that her bitterness and her constant sour face for no particular reason. I just grew weary. And why that one, I don't even bother remembering anyone's name. So whoever the guy was that liked her, why?
Jesse, Skylar Astin as Jesse.
Yeah. Why in the world would you waste that much energy on this person? Like, it does not make any sense at all. Like, it just was frustrating me. He seems like a very nice man.
Well, fun side story. Him and Anna Camp fell in love while making these Pitch Perfect films. They got engaged in 2016 and married, and then they got engaged and divorced within the space of these like 10 years of Pitch Perfect films.
Oh,
engaged, married, and divorced.
Wow.
Yeah. So Pitch Perfect had like a little romantic run.
That's more interesting
behind the scenes.
That story is more interesting than this whole movie. I think part of the problem also is I'm not as big a fan as you are of a cappella groups.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
Wow,
guys.
Mean,
I just like... I just like... I find it so twee. And I'm a person who likes Wes Anderson. I mean...
I love it, and I love honestly, one of the things that I love the most, and it's so embarrassing about me, is that song where they have like that part of the movie where they have the sing off and like
I
the
was gonna
battle.
say, yeah,
I
that's the
love that
only.
sequence. I love that whole sequence. I
That
can't
was
help
the
it.
only good part of the movie.
You
to
liked
me.
it? Wow.
It was okay, except for that them thinking that they're pretty like you know the Sharks and the Jets in West Side Story or something like take this, you know, like it got a bit like get over yourself, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
like just tone it down a little bit, okay?
They're hardcore.
Yeah.
They do a cappella.
And what school is this? Where the a cappella groups are ruling the day? Like, where is this? Is that
Well,
do I not understand American colleges?
I mean, maybe at liberal arts colleges, anyways. No, what I thought was actually really funny is like they set it up in the beginning that we're in a very small special world, and like they acknowledge like the jocks have a lot going on and the frat houses have a lot going on. But there's also this small sub-genre world, this like micro-genre of importance to campus life, which is like 4 different a cappella groups.
See, now in The Office, Andy Bernard was teased for being part of his college
Yes.
a cappella group.
Yes.
And that rang more true to me.
Well, think about Gilmore Girls, and every time, Richard Gilmore goes back to the Whiffenpoofs in Yale. I mean, that a cappella group, like, we...
But
It
okay,
was
so wait, what
a lot.
does anyone know? Like, is a cappella on U.S. colleges? Is it?
Well, there was a book written about it, which I used.
Yeah, that's a real book. That's
Yeah.
But it's like a going concern. Like
Yes.
every college has multiple a cappella singing groups, and
not every college, but a lot of colleges have multiple a cappella singing groups. Yes,
and they are there actually competitions?
oh yeah, no, there are. Our friend and frequent podcast guest Hannah McGregor, for a long time belonged to the Lionsgate chorus here in Vancouver. That's like 100-person a cappella, like chorus
Oh
group.
yeah, that's right.
And
That's
like
right.
there's like the Sweet Adelines competition that they like participate in, and it's everything from like 4-person groups to like large like actual choruses. Like a cappella is significant. It's hurting in the pandemic, obviously, but a lot of people, like, I also know a lot of people who have joined like choruses, not a cappella ones necessarily, but have joined choruses in the last several years, and like are doing like remote singing online and stuff.
What's the difference between a chorus and an a
Well, they're
cappella group?
singing to like maybe live guitar or backing tracks or whatever. Like an a cappella is like doing everything themselves. There's no backing music.
Oh, I see.
Because like a cappella is, the voices are providing the instrumentation and the beats and stuff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I stumbled into the after party of a barbershop competition in Portland at a hotel we were staying at? It was one of the greatest fun weird moments of my life. I just heard 4-part harmonies like calling to me from the lobby of the hotel, and so I went investigating. It was about, I don't know, we were coming home from the evening of being out all night, and they'd had a competition all day, and so now it was just like random barbershop groups stuck behind in the ballroom just like hanging out, and they were having little sing-offs. Like I saw sing-offs in real life. They weren't like step into each other, but it was like really fun.
Well, I'm glad this happened to you.
You didn't have to go behind the building in an old parking lot and
Where the rough people hang out, and this is a bit too much for everybody. We're going to have to take it outside. Yeah. I have a hard time imagining this on Letterkenny or something.
I also, this is like another weird sort of thing about this film that I do enjoy. I really like Brittany Snow as an actor. And I thought she was really fun in this. And this is one of the only film franchises that I've really ever seen her like get a bit of a showcase. She's from.
She was quite good
like
at Hairspray, though. I remember.
Yeah, no, she was. She was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, but she was like a child star on a soap opera when I was like really young, and I like to see child stars grow up like seemingly kind of having some success and like
And not
having
a
it
Britney
be like.
Spears.
Well, I mean, you know, she had some success, but she hasn't had as much hardship as far as I know, you know,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
so, and I thought she had like a nice sort of like sparkle in her performance.
Can we talk about the feminism in this movie? Because I feel like that when they made the movie, they believed they were making a feminist movie.
Oh, I think everyone involved believes that this is a feminist movie.
Oh, wow.
Because the ultimate lesson is when, okay, I'm going to have to swallow before I say
When
this.
she has her nodes removed and she's...
No, when Becca comes back and says, you know, I wasn't the type of girl to really have a lot of girlfriends. But now I understand, like, the importance of sisterhood.
And that's the awkward scene where everybody tells their secret, right? And Rebel
No,
Wilson is...
oh, maybe it is. Yeah.
But it's also like they make a big thing throughout the movie about how they're the first all-female a cappella group to
Yes.
like be contenders or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But then at the beginning of the movie, they say we just want girls that look good in bikinis.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay.
It is a hard blind spot in there. And then the judges, I know that the judges are supposed to be ridiculous, and so I can appreciate that. Again, I think that they think they're being satirical, but they're by like having. So when you present this idea that the Bellas in their previous incarnation were these like sexed up, you know, babe bombs or whatever, and that in their new incarnation, when they've added one fat girl and several women of color, and that is what makes them ugly, that is a bad message for a feminist film. Like, that is wildly awful. And I don't think anyone in this movie was really ultimately that aware of what they were, or just maybe I'm giving them too much credit.
I think the phrase they used was just like not as pleasing to the eye.
Not as pleasing to the eye. Yes. And then, but then at the end, you get Elizabeth Banks' judge, who has been just as awful as John Michael Higgins' judge throughout the whole thing. He says something like, "I never would have imagined women being successful as something that I could never have imagined women being successful." And she gives the sort of like delivery of like, "Of course you couldn't. You're a misogynist at heart," or whatever it is that she says. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you, friend, but you have so much internalized misogyny dripping in your soul that I hope that after this particular victory, you also spend a lot of time doing some work at home, unpacking some of your stuff. Do I know that she hasn't? I do, because the very next film, Pitch Perfect 2, opens with Fat Amy splitting open her tights or her pants in they've incorporated wire work into their set, and everyone is horrified by Fat Amy's fat vagina when her pants split open and she's not wearing underwear. That's how they kick off the second film, another film that they feel is deeply feminist, in 2015.
And I'm gonna say, I watched that film because I was just a little curious to see if they had like made any progress.
You watched Pitch Perfect too?
Yeah, I was curious. I was like, did they? Because it's like,
you're a completist. You've been through all the Fast and the Furious and the Rocky movies. That's right. Yeah.
Like, did they learn any like lessons or change their brand of comedy for this movie? And the answer is no.
No,
they don't. There's a character who's like a Guatemalan character, and she is made to say the most like racist things about, you know, and it's like, and because she is saying it, it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
And it's throughout the entire movie. It's It's awful. Yeah, it was Pitch Perfect 2 was harder to watch for me than Pitch Perfect 1.
Yeah, I would. I remember. I would agree with you because I remember Pitch Perfect 1. While I did find some moments enjoyable, Pitch Perfect 2 I hated from the opening.
Yeah, well, that's quite an opening. I didn't mean that as a pun. Sorry. So-
But it worked, and I liked it.
But it did, yes.
Yeah.
It worked, and I liked it. Yeah, I mean, I really do think that a lot of people involved in this film really think it was a feminist enterprise, and I mean, I can only hope for them that like their feminism looks and feels and is a lot different 10 years later. Because otherwise it's like, I mean, I think it's an accurate reflection of where a lot of like, especially like, because as you're sort of noting in the your outline, AG, is that like a lot of feminists were like, well, it isn't perfect. But it's not tone deaf to feminism struggles, problems, and potential. Like, this is, this sort of like feminist critics grasping at straws because
Because it's a movie with women.
Because it's a movie with women. It's a movie made by women. It
passes the Bechdel test.
It passes the Bechdel test. Like, there's so much happening behind the scenes and in front of the camera in this film that I think, people do want to give it a lot more space to succeed or fail than it really sort of deserves. And it's very hard to feel good about it, certainly in a 2022 lens. Because you can just see like, I don't know. I like personally, I just think like we're in such a different space now. And it's only been 10 years, and this movie feels like 30 years old on a lot of levels, if not at least 20. But I do think, like, I don't know, like, I mean, the Joyful Noise movie that you mentioned in the outline, AG, with Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah, I saw that when it first came out. I can't remember precisely, like, how great it is or how it would hold up, but I remember really loving it. When it came out. Now, that said, I love Queen Latifah and I love Dolly Parton. So,
I want to watch that. I think we should revisit that.
Well, we had a lot of fun with Sister Act. And I know we haven't done Sister Act 2 yet, but
we should do that because there is a Sister Act 3 coming.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I'm really all about like well, you know that I love a good choir film. So I'm in anytime. But I also know that if it's not quite your guys' things, maybe we should spread them out.
What's
Yes,
I'm not as bad as AG there with musicals, so I'm okay with that. But geez, not for a while. Let's let it rest.
Did you have like a favorite musical number that you enjoyed in the movie?
No. No, I just was embarrassed for everybody. I mean, I suppose I could give them A for commitment. They were very, very committed to whatever it is they're doing.
Like the actors or the characters?
The characters in really loving their a cappella. Like they really love it. They really do. Mm-hmm. Despite their creepy initiation and that you can't date the treble chargers or whatever.
The treble, the Canadian punk band, the treble chargers.
they that part also gross.
Oh yeah,
I know. I mean, amongst the many things that were really gross about this. Oh yeah, we're gonna dictate who you can date. So we're not actually an a cappella group. We're a cult.
Absolutely, they're a cult. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's well, and also like the treble makers in and of themselves, like they seem to have like a better sort of friendship. Like I know they're we don't get to spend a ton of time with them or anything, but like you know, they seem to at least be sort of like listening to each other a fair little bit. They seem to be having more fun.
They definitely seem to be having more fun. I can't tell you why these group of women want to keep meeting together. It sounds brutal to me.
Yeah, it didn't sound like a fun activity to participate in when you're in college.
No,
just like
2 hours every day, and for what? And to be yelled at and to be shamed constantly, and then to feel that pressure of you know, dressing up as a flight attendant and then trying to sing for people. I mean,
yeah, the flight attendant outfits. It was just like that is not even a, like, what is the concept there?
I would love to understand the concept there, other than, I guess, flight attendants, they were still easing it. They were still like riding that stereotype of like flight attendants being sort of like sex pots of the air.
Yeah.
Like, is that what the concept was? I don't really understand.
no, I don't. The whole thing seemed brutal and nasty and not quite short enough for me.
Brutal, nasty, and not quite short enough. I mean, it is a description. I agree with a lot of that. Yeah, it's not as fun. Like this is a movie that should be fun, and it
should be fun to be in an a cappella group.
Yeah, and like the only time they seem to be having fun, at least at first, I mean, I guess the one other moment that I did enjoy was when they were all waiting for Becca back in her dorm room after she gets out of jail. And I thought
which
that
is
was
like, yeah, she's going there. They put her in jail for what happened.
I know, it's ridiculous. Like there's a whole, like, there's 40 plus people standing there and like one broken window, and she goes to jail. Sure. But I mean, I did like that the group was all waiting there for her, and that felt like, you know, a nice little tiny bit of solidarity. But like, I just think like this like idea that like feminism equals sisterhood or sisterhood equals feminism is not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the lie we were able to sort of maybe like live on about, I don't know, 40 years ago. But even then, no, like feminism has always been like a quest for sort of like equity and equality, and there's always something inherently political in feminism. It cannot just be like you're allowed to treat all the other women around you like crap for the greater good of your a cappella competition. Like, God.
Exactly, like you're just like begrudgingly accept them in your a cappella group because you can't get anyone else to join.
Yeah, it's
it's so awful. It's so awful when you like allow your mind to just like think about it even a little bit. It's like all these so-called women that they're lifting up and being part of their team in this show that it's about this all-female group that is succeeding. It's just like it's made up of people that they considered to be beneath them because they're, I don't know, of a different race. They're not like they're not the same body size as they are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of them wears like heavy eyeliner.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I did wonder if perhaps they got Stevie's wardrobe idea though from Pitch Perfect.
I mean, at the very least, Stevie never wore a leather vest. I think at one point Becca's rocking a leather vest.
Yeah,
that's
and also
not...
she didn't have to wear the most cleavage enticing. Like, where did I miss that part of grunge where you were wearing like V-necks down to your belly button? I didn't remember.
I don't know. If you're not showing at least the top halves of your boobs, how are you even doing a cappella right?
Right.
According to this universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but like maybe just like let's have it be part of the conversation. Or also the other random girl with the large boobs whose one quality is that she likes sex.
Yeah.
And like that's supposed to be.
And then she keeps getting hit on in really really disturbing ways.
Well, it's just, I mean, like, what is anyone's message in this movie about anything? Yeah. I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
I don't know. It's not
yeah.
great though.
You're right though. It's like the brand of comedy is just, like it's not aging well, and it's that type of thing that's like any kind of movie like this that features hipster racism as comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good at all. So that said,
Does it pop? Is that what you were going to ask?
Yeah. Does
Wow.
Pitch Perfect pop?
Let me think about that for a second.
Did you want to go,
Yeah, on 3.
Yeah. Let's see if we can harmonize this. No. No, I'm going to say a definitive no. I mean, I recognize saying that is a bit like saying, "Oh, I don't like ice
Redundant.
cream," because it's pretty popular and enduring for people. But no, if someone said to me, "Oh, I've never seen it," I would say, "Have you seen Dude, Where's My Car?" Because maybe that will be more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would not recommend anyone rewatch this because it'll make you feel very sad if you kind of did like it the first time around. And it makes me sad to say that, a little bit, because I think, Rebel Wilson is really funny, and it's too bad that this kind of showcase of her comedy and her talent is not aging well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Rebel Wilson hasn't aged well in terms of sort of some of her attitudes about things in general. So don't worry about that. But it was nice to have her for a little while and for a few years. Everything, like, there's a little bit something depressing about everything about this film. It doesn't pop for me anymore, which makes me sad because I did enjoy aspects of it. And I do still enjoy the performances in it. Like, I'm always going to be a sucker for, like, a group of people coming together because they love music and then doing some choreography. That's always going to appeal to me. But yeah, it doesn't pop. So we love to leave our episodes on something we recommend, and I'm just gonna go first this time because I never go first, and I just want to recommend if you, like me, are missing the fact that Betty White is no longer in this world, you're having some sad feelings about that, although she had a great life, and rest in peace, love her, Betty White. But there are lots of different things that probably she has been in that maybe you've never watched before. Because I certainly never watched Hot in Cleveland, but maybe I will at some point down the road, just as a tribute to her. One thing I had never watched was Betty White Goes Wild on the National Geographic Channel. And she visits she introduces us to 4 different types of big cats. And she does this, it's from 2013. She was 91. She takes us on this like sort of special behind the scenes insider look at sort of the 3 big zoos / sanctuaries in California. The ones that are like sort of Los Angeles, San Diego, and then I can't remember the other one. And she's spent her life dedicated to like sort of animal sanctuaries and animal loving animals and rescuing animals, et cetera, et cetera. So she's not really like pro zoos at all, but she is pro animal rehabilitation and like safe places for animals to go. Anyway, so she takes us behind the scenes and we meet all these different big cats, and it's so fun, and it's just so nice to spend time with Betty White.
Where did you watch this? What channel?
So I watched it on Disney Plus in the Nat Geo channel. But it's also National Geographic was re-airing it as well. So I bet it exists in lots of different places. It might even exist on their YouTube channel. But Betty White Goes Wild, and she's so fun and she's so nice. And I learned things about big cats that I didn't know before. And it's just watching how she actually like seems to genuinely just be able to talk to big cats. It's so cool. And one of the ones like 2 of the cats she visits, she's known them since they were babies. They're like hers. And she's got pictures of herself with them like from 40 years ago. And it's so cute.
Oh,
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Everyone will really love it, especially if they love Betty White.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go next.
Yes.
So I watched the Gilded Age. The first episode came out last week, and I'm happy to report if you're a fan of Downton Abbey and you were looking for something to fill that hole in your life, the Gilded Age is going to do it. It's perfect.
Oh,
it's awesome.
Amazing.
And I've only watched 1 episode so far, but it totally just like, it's like Downton Abbey taking place in New York City in the 1880s.
So very Edith Wharton kind of.
Yeah, it stars Cynthia Nixon, Christine Baranski, and then Meryl Streep's daughter, Louisa Jacobson, is also one of the stars. And yeah, it's just like, you want to just like sit back, turn off your mind a little bit, watch some incredible costumes and set design and, you know, just stories of petty rich people doing stuff.
Perfect. That's perfect.
What if you never watched Downton Abbey? Do you think I would still like enjoy this?
Yeah, it's a totally different story, but it's just the same vibe. It's like the same creator.
It's the same creator, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Julian Fellows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm finding it very enjoyable.
I'm not encouraging anything uplifting. I'm as I further into my quest of Scandinavian noir on Netflix. I just finished The Chestnut Man, which was a Danish police procedural, and I have just started watching an Icelandic one called Trapped.
Oh.
Which on Rotten Tomatoes has 100%.
Oh, goodness.
So I don't want to say anything about it because these are mysteries. And but yeah, if you're, for some reason, we all have our thing like that relaxes us. And, you know, these police procedurals do it for me, especially when they're Nordic. I don't know why. I think I know I'm not alone, but there are 2 of them there for you. The Chestnut Man and Trapped.
I find the Nordic ones, they so rarely use guns, the actual like detectives.
True.
It's sort of refreshing.
Yeah.
And everything is gray.
Everyone's in good sweaters and they're very moody. And I happen to like that.
Yeah. I like moody too. Yeah. It's a good beat for me.
Yeah.
But well, we've given quite the range of recommendations. I'm
Sure
very
have.
excited. And things we don't recommend. So
Yes. Wow.
yeah, so just sorry friends that I made you watch this. But I'm glad we talked about it. And
It's okay.
I think it is important to sort of, you know, just check in on things.
Well, I mean, it is wild to think about that. This 10 years ago, this movie was wildly popular.
Yeah.
And well received.
Well received
I
enough
mean-
to get 2 more films.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's worth
and maybe
thinking
a
about.
3rd or 4th now.
And
yeah.
possibly a whole rebooted TV series.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Mysteries. These forget my Nordic mysteries. These are the real mysteries that we need to be solving.
Yeah, it's
But
yeah,
we
it's
were
wild.
there. We lived in
It was
2012.
only 10 years ago. I know.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel that long ago, actually.
And yet, by this standards of this film,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
lifetimes have
Yeah.
changed.
Insane.
Lifetimes.
Insane.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. You can hang out with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can don't listen to us on Spotify, and enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that you've had fun hanging out with us.
Yeah, and thanks to Andrea Gin, our co-host and producer here at Pop This. Don't forget your Lamborghini code, and just putting that out there, Lamborghini. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.